Alright guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be recounting the events of last night where I tested the Karazhan raid for TBC, and there's definitely some interesting and unexpected things to talk about. So first of all, I was actually hoping to get into TSW's group, but I was on standby, which meant I had to join a pug, okay? Now, I was trying to join a pug anyway, because when I joined the server, there were many different groups forming, and they were just filling up so incredibly fast. Even as a shaman, I was actually finding it difficult to get a group. They gave us some very basic blue gear, basically the dungeon sets for every single class, and there was a lot of issues. For instance, shamans didn't actually get healing gear. That was a good move. Paladins couldn't equip the shield in their bag because it required rep, a bit of a rookie mistake. Even I've made that mistake, and I don't make that mistake anymore on my own private server. I always make sure to give my characters all the rep that they need if I want to equip them with certain gear pieces. And yeah, people had to go and make new characters, and then when they started making new characters, like at me, the game started crashing, right? So it just took ages for people to actually get going into Karazhan. Everyone started late. And I was finding it just impossible to join another group, so I decided to make my own. I got so impatient and made my own. And it's the first time I've ever attempted raid leading in my life, well, at least for a very long time. I might have done it a little bit back in the day. But yeah, and we started off with an alright group, okay? You know, a decent comp, couple of warlocks. At one point we even had 3 warlocks. I think we had 2 hunters as well. And we even had the legend himself, No Hit Jerome, in the group. He was very good at keeping the morale of the group very high. We had absolutely no Discord or anything, and yeah, like I said, my first time really raid leading. So the main thing that we are very surprised at, honestly, was the difficulty. Especially, I'm going to be surprised if they keep the current difficulty of Karazhan, you know, into TBC, because anyway, let me tell you about all the bosses individually. So we pretty much smashed every single boss up until Iran. Okay, we whamped on Horseman once, but we had a very trying paladin. He was, you know, didn't really know a lot about the class, and we had to like basically coach him into playing his class properly. It was just a fluke wipe on the Horseman. Everything else we absolutely one-shotted. So Morose, surprisingly, we one-shotted. I thought we were going to have trouble with that one because it's a bit technical. But the mobs on Iran, like the ads, not Iran, sorry, the mobs on Morose just died insanely quickly, so they didn't really provide that much difficulty. Then one-shotted Maiden, even with everyone fully taking the CC. Then Opera event, you know, that one obviously catches you off guard because you don't know what the tactics are going to be until, you know, the guy starts talking. We smashed that first time. We even got Curator down on our second attempt. What was interesting about Curator was it spawned 3 sparks at once. Now, I've been playing private servers for years, and normally you only get 1 spark. And then you can't deal damage to the boss because most of it is getting absorbed. But for some reason you could deal damage to the boss the whole time, and 3 sparks were spawning. It was a very different fight to what I remember from private servers. Obviously that probably means that either Blizzard have got it wrong or private servers have got it wrong. Who knows? But what we did in response to that was just pop Bloodlust on the sparks, and we absolutely smashed that, and it wasn't actually that difficult in the end. Then we wiped on Iran once because people started moving on Flame Reef and killing everyone in the raid, and people weren't dealing with elementals. And then the group totally fell apart. You know, it was a pub group, people started leaving, they couldn't be bothered doing the really long walk, especially as I tried to find the shortcut, but I had totally forgotten, and then everyone started basically giving up on the group. But luckily, we had a absolute godsend moment. Our saviour, the man, the myth, the legend, Warrior TSW joined the group, the absolute warrior oracle, and he came to tank the raid for us. And then, you know, I recruited who I could. It was quite late at that time, so I just made do with what I could get. And we had a bit of a shocking comp, I'm not going to lie. We had 2 rogues, a mage, an early shaman, one warlock, a prot warrior, and a prot paladin, and then resto shaman and priest healer. So, I mean, most of our comp is good, but obviously we did have 2 rogues. But despite all that, despite having 2 rogues, again, we one-shotted everything again. We one-shotted every single boss apart from the last boss. We even one-shotted Neverspite, okay? And we're like, wait, what? I thought this boss was like really difficult, and we just absolutely one-shotted because we just got the tactics down to a T. And yeah, we had absolutely no issues with Neverspite. I've always had issues with that on private servers. I always remember it being very difficult. But yeah, last night it was very easy. And then I admit we had a bit of a bump in the road, well, a big bump in the road when we came to Prince, mainly due to bad RNG on the Infernals, and obviously having 2 rogues in the group, you know, that's quite difficult because the rogues have to run away. So we had 3 DPS, including the Paladin, who were basically having to run away, you know, every few seconds on the Enfeeble mechanic, so our DPS was very low on that boss, so we, you know, basically the fight lasted much longer than it needed to, which gives the axes from Prince a bigger opportunity to just start killing people, and obviously a bigger opportunity for more Infernals to spawn. So we made the fight very difficult for us, but eventually, once we got the tactics down, and we got very, very lucky RNG, it actually went really smoothly, and it was actually really easy just when we had very good RNG. So, if Karazhan stays like this, if the tuning for how it was on the beta is exactly how it's going to be in TBC Classic, and I managed to do it. First time raid leading, got a scuff setup of a really bad composition with, I mean, bearing in mind half the group hadn't even had any experience in TBC before. I think only 3 of us honestly had experience with TBC. So just bear that in mind too. So most of the group was totally inexperienced. And yeah, the TBC raiding is going to be an absolute cakewalk if they aren't going to do any more tuning after this, honestly. I mean, maybe it's just my, you know, private server training, you know, because obviously private servers are extremely more difficult when it, you know, comes to raiding. I didn't realise how much they were tuning up the content, to be honest. Because, yeah, I mean, hopefully the other raids that we're going to test tonight, by the way, MetaGoblin 1 TV, you'll find the link to that in the description. You know, hopefully the raids we test tonight, like Gruel's and Magfaradon, so that's coming tomorrow, are going to be a bit more difficult, and hopefully that'll be a better representation of what more, you know, the future raids are going to turn into. But so far, guys, I mean, this min-max attitude that we're, you know, carrying over into TBC, it really is not needed. Well, it's not going to be needed if the raids are going to be this easy. I mean, scuffed setup with 2 rogues in a group, for God's sake, and we managed to basically clear Karazhan pretty smoothly. Obviously, apart from the last boss. Hopefully things will be a little bit more difficult. I may even have the confidence tonight to make my own 25-man group again. I can roughly remember all the tactics for Gruel's Lair without looking them up. It'd be definitely quite interesting if we can actually down Gruel's Lair in another scuff setup of 25 people, second time raid leading, and, you know, no Discord or anything like that. But anyway, only time will tell, you know, how difficult raids are actually going to be in TBC. We shouldn't really be jumping the gun and saying, oh, TBC raiding is going to be absolutely terrible because it was bad on the beta. End of the day, the beta is never a finished product. Maybe they actually thought they were going to ship Karazhan this easy, and then because we think it's too easy, they're actually going to tune it up a little bit. Hopefully, they watch videos like this, and hopefully they were watching live streams at the time to get, like, you know, honest answers. And if anyone's on the beta right now, probably would, you know, submit a little bit of a message saying, look, Blizzard, it's a little bit too easy. So, anyway, my name is MetaGoblin. Until my next video, ciao.